You know, one of the hardest things about the Bible for me is turning the other cheek. Uh, Considering, like, I got a temper problem. And when people do me wrong, I want to take matters into my own hands. Right? And it's comes from a place of feeling like nobody's going to defend you. Right? And so that's where faith comes in. But I had some incidents where, you know, where I had to forgive and move on. It was very difficult. But I remember one where I was living with a guy who was a former drug addict that destroyed his life. He was a former lawyer, so he owned a trailer, and my room was in the back. Now I guess his on and off girlfriend came, who was an on and off drug addict, and I guess she knew I was there, and she knew I was black, and she was outside yelling at him, and she turned her attention towards me. Now I didn't see her face. We wasn't looking at each other. She was yelling at me through the window, but I wasn't looking at her. And she was calling me an N word. Said, "Hey, N word," like calling me N word boy. Right now, I'm mad as I don't know what. I ain't never heard nobody call me that with a hard R. I'm mad, but the Lord was telling me to be calm, and it got worse because the Spirit of the Lord told me to go into the kitchen area because she ran to a car, right? And then she got in her car and she pretty much rammed the back of the trailer, which where my room was at. Now I'm even more mad now. I had to call the police. Man, I'm mad as I don't know. It took like a few days for me to recover from that, but I remained calm. I didn't go off on her, even though I wanted to, right? And then I think when I seen her, she apologized and forgave her. 2 months later, she did the same thing, but this time I don't think she called me the N word, but she rammed the back of my car after another argument with the owner of the trailer. And at that point, once again, I had to remain calm. It was very hard. But probably about a year later, the owner of the trailer, right, called me and told me that she died because she was on and off on drugs, and I guess that finally caught her to her. And I was happy that I never went off on her, and I'm happy that the last impression she had of me was good. I never went off on her. I never, you know, tried to take matters to my own hands. I forgave her, and then she died. She died in the streets, and I was just like, wow, I'm glad I never went off on her, right? So that was one. Another incident was when a guy, I paid him for a verse. He never did the verse, but he took the money. But just so happened we was working together, and he was from a particular hood, a set, in the Bay Area. That was pretty dangerous, but for me, sometimes I don't care, but at the same time, I had a lot going for myself. So I was like, man, I'm gonna just let this go. After talking to the right counsel, they told me to just leave it alone. So I did, but God avenged me because he missed work one day. They wanted me to fill in for him, and I said, hey, I need more hours. I'll fill in for him if you give me that day permanently, and they did. And so he got his hours cut, and I got more hours. So I feel like that was God uh, repaying me for him not paying me back. Right now, I'm in another situation like that where I can't get into the details because it's really sensitive. But a person did me really bad recently, really bad, and naturally I wanted to take matters into my own hands. But I said, you know what? I don't want to do nothing wrong. Um, I'm just control myself, and it was hard, and it took me a few days to really get that person out of my head. But I prayed to the Lord, like, can you please avenge me? Because I want you to teach me that I don't need to take matters into my own hands. I don't need to do it my way. That you'll handle the situation. And so, um, the particular individual, I wanted to block that person, but I felt God was like, don't block that person. I want you to see what happens. I couldn't really listen. I was like, I'm gonna block that person. So I blocked that person, and then today, it's a person that we both know was asking me about that person, and I was like, well, I don't know. So that person ended up telling me that the person who did me wrong. Now, keep in mind the mutual person don't even know the full circumstances, but that person told me that the person I'm talking about that did me wrong is in a really bad situation right now. It's sad. It's so sad that I got scared, and it lets me know, like, man, I gotta watch out how I do people, because stuff could change instantly for you. So you want to make sure you in the right place with God, where you can pray to Him. But it's real, man. I mean, it's sad. I can't even tell the details of the story because it's happening now, and it's really sad. It's sad to even think about it, But I know this is not a coincidence, So, you know, it's kind of like it's like, man, we just gotta always try to do right by people, and when people do us wrong, know that God will fix that situation, and God will fix them to the point where even you start feeling bad for the person, right? And when it happens, you just kind of just don't say nothing. Just let God do Him. Don't just kind of just back out, back off. That's what I'm doing. That's why I don't want to really speak on this, because it's happening as we speak, and it's sad.